Proposal for Makerspace, McMillan Junior High, grade 7 and 8, Cassie Fuller, CTE, Video Productions and Media Technology teacher. What is a makerspace environment? A makerspace is an open environment that offers personalized, real-world, and creative hands-on learning experiences. Why a makerspace? Makerspace helps develop 21st century learning skills through creativity, collaboration, communication, and critical thinking skills. This space also helps students that may not have resources or help at home to do projects and play around, expanding their learning at school. How does this space do that? This space does that by supplying resources and a space where they can come expand their learning while working on projects. Use resources and community members to lead them through different projects, self-exploration with circuits, STEM projects, coding, creating graphics, creating 3D art, and more. Taking pictures and videos to put in projects and learning how to communicate with an audience. The opportunities are endless. In this space, they're also able to work with their classmates or each other to work on projects. The purpose of this space is for extra exploration and resources for junior high students, teachers, administrators, and any other staff member to expand their learning. Areas of exploration is, but not limited to, digital photography, video productions, STEM projects, soldering, circuitry exploration, class project supplies, work area, and more. Teachers and students will be able to send in requests for specific supplies or projects they may want to explore. The physical layout. We start with our digital photography and video productions area. Both areas are able to use the green screen and the lighting. The camera storage and tripod storage is right here. They are also able to check out the cameras and tripods to use on the school property but not bring it home. In other words, they do not have to specifically stay in this area while using the video and the digital photography equipment. We do have 10 iMacs available for this space that include the iMacs include coding software, digital photography software, which is your Adobe products, Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, Animate, and more. Video productions editing, which includes iMovie, Final Cut Pro, and Adobe Premiere Pro. SolidWorks for your 3D modeling and 3D printing, and other applications for your general projects. Students also have access. It is a one-to-one campus, so they do also have access to their Chromebooks. They are able to bring their Chromebooks in this area to use. So our digital photography area. Digital photography area includes 4 DSLR cameras with video and picture capabilities, access to training on how to use the cameras and what each of the settings on the camera can do. The area will be shared by the video productions space. Students and teachers or Makerspace participants are encouraged to play around with the camera settings. Sample projects are provided. In this space, we will have 10 computers that have Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, Animation, Adobe Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro on them, and more. We also have a green screen set up for use in the digital photography space and video production space. Video productions, 4 professional style video cameras, 4 heavy duty tripods to have added wheel capability to them, 6 lightweight tripods, green screen, and special lighting. This space will also be shared with the digital photography space and have access to the same computers. Both the digital photography and video productions spaces, you must go through training before you handle any safety training before you handle any of the equipment. STEM projects. This space has multiple different spaces within it, including but not limited to soldering, circuitry exploration, building. Building could include but is not limited to rockets, toothpick bridges, hoverboards, and more. Access to same computers as a digital photography and video production space does. And again, students do have access to their Chromebooks in this space. They are able to use the 3D printer. If they use a 3D printer, it has to be from the 10 iMacs. And the colored printer, they can print from their Chromebooks or on the iMacs. Soldering. In this space, participants have access to many different colors of wires, solder, breadboards, and more. We will have different projects they can explore with, but are not limited to. After exploring, they can either use what we have to create their own projects or bring in a project and use our supplies to improve it. A safety class is required before anyone can use this equipment. They also have to, when they're building, they cannot build anything that is not school appropriate. The circuitry exploration. In this space, participants have access to many different supplies, including, but not limited to, Arduino boards, breadboards, wires, components, and example builds. They can either look through the example builds or build their own circuits. Again, they still have access to their Chromebooks and the iMacs if they want to go and find other builds on the internet for them to explore. Class projects. Some students do not have access to supplies to do class projects at home. In this space, students will be able to have access to, but is not limited to, poster boards, foam boards, scissors, crayons, matte pencils, construction paper, and more. Some classes also have video projects and presentations that go along with their class projects. They will be able to use the video and digital photography space for these projects. All spaces have access to a colored printer. Makerspace location. This space is located in an old computer lab that is by the library. This space will be monitored by the media specialist. There is not a makerspace currently in this space. It is simply an old computer lab that is now being used for PLCs, personal learning communities for the teachers, for basically teacher meetings. Safety classes. Personal and equipment safety classes are required for everyone to take before they can use any of the equipment. Guests on campus. Student participants are encouraged to bring their parents to help out with any extra exploration. Yes, these parents still have to go through a safety training class before using any equipment. We will have parent community nights throughout the year to encourage extra exploration. These nights will be announced each month. Guest volunteers are also welcome in these spaces. As stated above, we will have guest workshop makers that will be invited pending on what interests our makers express. Hours of operation. During class times, teachers are able to reserve this space during class times through the media specialist. If this space is not being used by a class, then students are welcome to come in and work in these spaces with a note from their current teacher. Other times, students can use these spaces before school, during their privilege time, or after school. Clubs are also encouraged to use the space before and or after school. All teachers and staff. These spaces are available for all teachers and staff to use 24/7. They do not need special permission from the media specialist in order to use this area or equipment. Special events. There will be special events that may not fit in the above hours of operation. This will include special events held on the weekends or in the evenings. These spaces welcome school clubs to come and use them as needed outside of the normal class periods. Funding. To get the space up and running, we will need $100,000, which the pricing includes provisions of the Makerspace, curriculum, training, and equipment. We accept after we get going. We do accept, or even before we get going, we will accept community donations, and we do fundraisers throughout the year. We will work with the community volunteers to help learn and create projects with the community as well as companies. In conclusion, again, the purpose of this Makerspace is for extra exploration and resources for junior high students, teachers, administrators, and any other staff member to expand their learning. Areas of exploration is but not limited to digital photography, video productions, STEM projects, soldering, circuitry exploration, class projects, supplies, and work area. Teachers and students will be able to send and request for specific supplies and projects they want to explore.